Welcome to White Label American Podcast. This is a podcast that brings you bold, in-depth interviews with interesting people that are mostly immigrants taking down artificial walls one story at a time. This is a podcast that empowers immigrants to share their stories and listen to those of others. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm glad you're here. Keep the support coming in. 5 stars. And if you haven't given us 5 stars, what you doing with your life? You want me to send my 5-year-old after you to come stare at you? And, once you do the right thing, I'm not sending Santa Claus after you because some of you might say it's not real. But I got a real 5-year-old and she can stare you down. So, hey, guess what? Do the right thing. Keep the support coming in. We got new merch. Go on the www.whitelabelamerican.com. Hit the shop link. What's going on my tongue? Hit the shop link and you get our merch right there. New supplies is there. Or if you don't do anything right, I send my 5-year-old after you. And you can join our Patreon for as low as $3. And I don't want $3. I want more than $3. So do the right thing. Some of you got that money, you don't know what to do with. And we don't accept crypto. We don't accept Naira. Yes, I love Nigerians, but I don't accept Naira. Bring real money. But if you want to bring gold, and as far as not Nazi gold, accept it too. Because it's Christmas time, holiday time, Kwanzaa, bring it. So give, and I give to our support other creators. Creatives out there. Support them. Indie creators. I don't need to give the big guys money. Give the small guys only. So with that being said, let's meet. You've already met our guests. You met them in part 1. We have awesome people here. We have Obinna, we have Grace, and Amir. You heard them in part 1. Great stuff they gave us. I know Western. I say Western, like art from somewhere like Russia, Ukraine. Does that fall under Western art?
Oh, yeah.
That falls under Western art.
Because it's like oil painting in
Okay.
in a Christian tradition mostly.
Okay.
It's a very blurry line though.
All right, because that's one part of it. Because I also look at people who I know. Like I have a very distant cousin. He's based in Port Harcourt, and I know he does oil paintings, and I think he also does some sculpture work too. But it's not like what you see over here, and like that's African painting too. And there's also paintings that have existed for a long, long time. So there are different types. So they should also get to be counted.
I think I think it is art. A lot of I just think that because what we know of as people are so free to disagree with me on this, but what we know of as art and fine art is an invention of basically Europe.
Yeah.
And now a lot of things, it's completely kind of left Europe, and now that has become the global understanding of what fine art is. But now painters, if we look at contemporary painting in China or West Africa, that's all fine art. Like a painter like Gideon Appa is absolutely doing fine art, even though he's not living in the West, But the art market, art museums, art auction houses, this whole like fine art apparatus has definitely come out of the West. So I guess that's what I mean when I say like within like the Western cultural tradition. I've definitely lost my train of thought here.
Well, you know what? I had a similar
feeling
when I went to see the Met had an exhibit of El Greco's paintings. And so I'm looking at these paintings, and they're the paintings of these bishops and, the powerful people of his time. And I was thinking, gee whiz, here I am looking at this work, and this stuff was done before there were museums.
Yeah.
This was done before galleries. This was done before New York City.
I mean,
This was done before. I mean, they could not imagine when they posed for those, for El Greco, the bishop, the pope, or whoever. They had no concept of somebody like me that this thing that they're posing for that was going to be in their private domain, and there I am going like.
Why did El Greco make those torsos so big?
And then and so that's part of it. Because art is in some form or another, has always existed, and then there's a religious and spiritual component to it that, even though it is different than some of the African traditional work that you were talking about, but like let's say the Pope, for instance, in what was it? I don't know. It was 1200 or whatever. Whenever El Greco was, the Pope was not thinking about any private display. It's really for his domain and his whoever he thought himself as being,
Served like a historical, like archival function. Also,
It serves-
archiving.
And then, the other side of it is now it's conceptual. What they're bringing out in these art schools is tending towards conceptual type approaches. Now, that's why I feel very lucky that I did not attend art school. And that the things that really inspired me finally to be an artist was when I was living in the mountains in California, where I would just take an antler and carve it, or I would find a stone, and then I was thinking the first sculptures I ever made was firewood for my fire, chopping it, and then from there, so in other words, all is not lost. Through these European concepts. It's not just European, but the kind of concepts that they have in these art schools, because I know a few artists that developed independently like that.
Yeah.
And maybe they picked up certain ideas or notions. I can mention many people. I'll mention my friend Robin Holder, who makes these incredible books. And now her stuff is in what is the big museum here? I mean, in D.C.
Smithsonian?
The Smithsonian. She's in a few collections like that. She didn't go to art school. She was motivated and inspired, and then she does these incredible. I mean, she does printmaking. That's just one person. I mean, but there's a few artists.
I hear you on that.
I should
But
totally revise.
I also grew up in Benin City. I moved around Nigeria a lot.
Benin City.
Yes, so you might know where I'm going. And the terracotta, the terracotta paintings are also there, and now the terracotta paintings that I'm going for, but that has existed right from time, and not terracotta. Is it terracotta? Not terracotta. Why is the word? Is the metal?
The bronze.
The bronze.
Bronze,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so that's
cast,
something that's also as old as time that's now considered that's been classified as the metal age. That there's two metal ages that existed simultaneously, and Benin City is now accredited with being one of them, and that's also art too, and. And also, there's portraits too that above Benin, because that's one of the most ancient kingdoms. That guy had portraits, but that's those one people who you don't they take their king very seriously. But I don't normally greet kings, but if I were to meet him, I do that's how you greet him. You kneel down.
Can I revise a statement I made earlier?
No. It's not an attack on you. No, it's not an attack.
I don't want to imply that I'm calling non-Western art not art, because I would also look back at Masaccio, the early Renaissance painter, and be like, they told him exactly what to paint.
Okay.
They said, we want to spend a bunch of money on this, so we need to use this much ultramarine and this much gold leaf, and it was like a flex and a political propaganda thing as much as it was a fresco. So what I said doesn't only apply to non-European art, also very much applies to European art. Being the older it gets, the less it really existed in its time as fine art. Okay, that's all. So I would say the same about
I'm
medieval.
not an art person.
Well, the motivations of older art is really more about craft, and fashioning. And there's a certain reputability of it, like where, like you made that, you go to a painter because they can
Tons of
paint
it wasn't
certain
even
things.
signed.
You go to
Yes.
No,
right. There
was
was no,
there was no. It was like, yeah, I did
Yeah,
the
because like
fresco
if you get stuff from those the metal guys, I think it was probably in the 90s. Like they rarely signed because I've been to those areas in late 90s, and they rarely signed. I think it was in the 2000s you started seeing people having their because there was this. It was tied to I think Christianity, like it's vain for you to have your name signing stuff,
or
but
the idea of an artist as a brand.
Yeah.
didn't
yeah,
exist.
yeah, but
That's a very like
when it comes to paintings, then you see stuff like what's the name of the woman with the largest art gallery in Lagos? Forgotten her name, but she's like mad famous. Uh she I think she might have been the first person like this. I'm a brand. There's not even the gallery. I'm the brand in the gallery, and she's like very against returning of artifacts to Nigeria too. By the way,
She's against it.
oh yeah, she's against
there's
it.
no money for art dealers in repatriation.
Yeah,
well, you know what's interesting is like just going ancient Egypt. Now Egypt had thousands of years of all the kinds of art that they made, and it went through different changes. But it was based on a few things. But over a period of time, it became, let's say, more democratic in a way that, like, poor people could, as opposed to the pharaoh having a pyramid.
Yes.
Then it became more affordable for people to not only have a coffin, but you went to a certain person who could paint a portrait on it or could carve, or somebody else who would, do the lettering on it. Like
mummy portraits.
This was something that evolved over time, but still the motivation was different. The motivation was spiritual, or it was about maintaining a tradition, or it was about like saying or preserving the idea of an individual, the individuality of it.
Yeah, for centuries, for millennia, painting and sculpture were the only way your face was gonna you could have an image of your face, and that your descendants could see it, or that your political adversaries could see it. Like it was painting and sculpture.
That's why some successors had it scratched. That's one way of erasing somebody from history.
Knocking the nose off.
Yeah, knocking the nose off. That's how you.
The nose thing was because you couldn't breathe.
So
when you went
spirit
to
the afterlife
thing you could not see.
Oh man!
I mean these
pettiness was a whole.
These had certain functions.
We've been petty for a long time, man. Humanity, man. Don't get me started.
Trait of our species.
But we've gone into that. Listeners will be like, wow, you get a lot of
You use a lot of Uli and CBD in your work, yeah?
In CBD, and that's
well, for the audience who are not aware, can you let them know what those are?
So in CBD is a language, written language that people of southeastern Nigeria, Igbo people, but not just. Again, it comes back to this idea of fluid borders. It's not just Igbo people. When you look at it, people starts bleeding over into the Buguma side of things and the river side of things as well, and they're all part of that region. So I found out about in CBD at the Brooklyn Museum when there was, and that's for me that's an interesting thing about like things you're told about your history and things you're not told about your history, and finding out by accident over time.
I found it on Pinterest one day because I clicked something that looked cool.
Yeah, no, that's like, and that's, it's funny you say that. There's this Nigerian American author. She wrote the Binti series. It's like a sci-fi. Nnedi Okorafor.
Yeah.
So she,
I started reading. She also wrote Americana. The one about the albino who's the witch.
Akata Witch.
Akata Witch.
Right.
Yeah.
So she,
I haven't finished the series.
if you look at the covers of her books, it has in CBD symbols that mean love.
Oh, okay.
Unity. you'll see those, and
Oh, so
so
that's what it is.
she went to there was a post that she made where she randomly saw something that looked cool, and then she was like, "Oh, this is in CBD. This is my people's written text that apparently is as old as they say 400 AD. That has existed. That even a lot of Nigerians in Nigeria now
Yeah,
they won't know
yeah,
about
I
that
did- I
part of
didn't
their
know.
history. So for me, I'm trying to scour the internet for as much information as I can on, who is anyone developing this written language any further, and is anyone, pushing it
Yeah.
because it got cut off at some point, its development. So for me, the work that I'm doing, hopefully, I'm documenting it. It's kind of self-didactic as well, where I'm putting it in the work, but I'm also learning about it as I do it. And I want that to just continue to be part of it, so I can learn that written language to a point where it becomes more fluent for me, if possible, in this lifetime. But there's a lot that history, tells or doesn't tell. That's interesting.
Thank you for that question.
I think it's very possible maybe kind of repeat what I was saying. It's very possible for artists to develop outside of the art school university system.
Yeah.
And what artists have to do for that is to pay attention to their inner voice. To like what is it that I feel like doing now? Like, like maybe 2:00 in the morning, like to paint something or to take a material and, and to follow it, to follow a theme through series of work on it. Like I have one area that I began in 76 that has become my lifetime project, which is I did 36 figures, a 4-year period that became my tarot cards. I have a tarot deck I designed.
Oh.
And from that, I just keep adding on to them. I do them in metal. I do them as mobile hanging pieces, a deck of cards. And always there's something that's enriching me in that process. And it's independent, not only just, I'm not just saying like of European concepts, it's independent of anything. It's really something that I developed, and maybe I've listened and learned from other cultures, other disciplines, but it's still like my vision. And this is what artists have to do, is they have to discover, recognize, what their personal vision is, and have the courage to embrace it and continue it and showing it. And actually that's what we have now, because the world is so messed up that we have to develop our inner voices, and we have to have our sharing of what these inner private visions are, for other people.
So, staying on that theme that you just brought up, are there any specific themes or cultural elements that have inspired you at any moment in time? And you may have already touched on this, but just any specific one that you like to give right now.
Well, I'm an occultist. I mean, like, I'm an astrologer. I do coffee readings, and I combine, like, when I first came back to New York, an astrologer asked me. He was kind of an old guy. He said, "Well, you have to make a decision. What are you? Are you an artist or are you an astrologer?" And I thought, it never occurred to me that I had to make a decision about it at all. It's like one is my left hand and one is my right hand, but I'm not going to even say which one is which. And sometimes if I'm working on a visual piece, I might be studying on a chart, looking at it, or I might have an idea to do something visual from a chart, So those are the things that carry me. Those are those disciplines of the occult, along with visual work to put it together, and that began really when I was 12. when I decided that I just wasn't Christian anymore. I decided that I didn't believe in God, and I decided that all that stuff was like fairy tales,
So
not the
that
healthy
started
ones.
quite early for you. And you know what's fascinating? Using the word occult, because if you're in Nigeria, that would have it may have ended for you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You may
Right.
not have made it.
Oh yeah.
You would have turned the mic off or what?
Well, back
Yeah.
if it was up till the age of let's say 23, yeah, I probably could have fought you.
Oh yeah,
Well, beating you or something, but yeah, but I seen people being lynched.
yeah, right.
People think we don't lynch people. We lynch people, man. For
Yeah,
that.
yeah, oh yeah. I know for beliefs and things. Well, see, that was the environment though I grew up in. The thing is, though, I didn't tell anybody. Once I had that feeling,
Okay, that was good.
I didn't tell like relatives, but it shocked me because then I said, wow, then what happens with eternal life and the things that are promised about heaven and like that, and and then I was in Michigan at the time, so the cold wind of Michigan, I could hear it. It was like scaring me. But then I started to, and that set me on. I didn't know it, but that set me on a kind of journey to understand my spirituality and understand what my destiny is, and to create a tarot deck or to develop my concepts of astrology, and then so finally I'm more tuned into, like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, and that's something that from my experience as an astrologer, as a reader,
Mhm.
that I can benefit other people through what I see in whatever form I'm reading with.
Nice.
Mm.
I think a lot about with my art. Is this a question of what's inspiring to?
Is there any specific theme or
Okay.
cultural elements that inspired you? It could be right now, or just we need one moment, or something from an example.
Okay. Themes that hugely inspired me. My work is definitely surrealist, and I really
Yes,
like
that word. I forgot
Carl,
about it.
like
Now, thank you for
both
bringing it
like
back.
old school 20th century surrealist painting where it's just really wacky figurative painting, but also they had such a focus on the subconscious and dreaming.
Mm.
There's a huge element of like Carl Jung and Jungian psychoanalysis and stuff in there, and
wow.
dream work. But then more broadly, if I were
Yeah.
to say like today, what is it? It's like the internet
Oh.
and what it looks like visually, what a
Yeah.
digital interface looks like. Because that feels to me like a huge cultural repository and like a cultural id or subconscious of some kind,
Okay.
where it's just this big hive mind of all of humans at our best and our worst. And sometimes, especially if we look at what algorithms will show us or where the directions in which social media will just like veer and the impact that'll have on reality, like it is shaping our culture and our visual culture.
Yeah.
And I think the way that pops up in my paintings the most is by kind of having almost collage like unrelated elements together, because I feel like on a screen every image exists at the same time. And also like just the idea of an interface is like, this is an image and you interact with it, but it's also got such a strange surreal, like, I'm holding up my phone, I'm sorry that you guys can't see for the listeners, but it has such a weird depth of field. It feels almost like a cubist painting if you look at how close the icons on like a laptop screen are to like how far back do you really feel like the window goes, like a pop-up, a tab, like even language that we use to describe visual interfaces has leaked into our like real life vocabulary. And I just think it's that's, if I had to choose an image that like really defined the 21st century, it would so be just a digital desktop with a single window open. It's so weird.
It's interesting
love
you
it.
say that. Like when you say that, looking at your work, there's sort of background and
Pop-ups, yeah.
foreground, and it's very clear. But you don't realize in reality there is a random screen with a whole world
Yeah.
inside it.
That's what yeah.
That's weird. That's
It
very
seems
clear.
like very
now that you
one
say that.
step or something,
yeah.
but I'm really like, how are we? The screen's the image we organize a
Mm.
lot of our world around. And
Mhm.
I think that I hope my painting reflects that, but I also don't want it to be obvious that I'm just painting screen.
No. But that that opens up a lot, actually.
It does.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's been on the podcast 2 times now. She's born in China, southern China, and she always has these debates that we have going on. Well, an ongoing debate about what is meaningful engagement on social media and what's about. And I consider her a little bit wilder than myself when it comes to setting ideas. I'll try and see if she can come to the exhibit, because it'll be nice if she can come with me, and then we have our ongoing debates, because they're setting ideologies that I'm like, girl, you too
Bring
far
her
off.
on.
Yeah, I'll try and she has. I have to see if she's available. I don't know if she's back she traveled to California but I have to see if she's back. But yeah, I'll try and bring one of my crazies with me. But
Nice.
yeah, as Grace was talking, I was like, Grace will, you and Grace have to have a conversation together. That would definitely be awesome. But yeah, I'm definitely saying her this episode. So Obinna, you got any?
Yeah. So I'd say for me, mythology really is a source for lots of inspiration, questions. It can be any type, and I think even in pop culture, the bubblegum Marvel comics, that's a version of mythology.
Yes.
That's being written today, and in the movies that you're seeing made about Thor and all these folks in the 21st century now. It's a version of mythology, and I think for the comic books that I've been working on, the mythology of Christianity and what exactly, calling to question what is what are the subtexts of it, like you were saying, Amir. What is this heaven and hell, and who told us about that? Was it to basically get people to pay taxes on time? Like what?
Yeah, there was some.
You know what?
They were doing something like that.
I never looked at it that way, but that's a good one.
It wasn't about happiness.
Right. So and
Give to Caesar what is Caesar's.
Exactly.
Hey.
And I think because again, coming from Nigeria, religion is so important, and it's such a huge part of your life. To have any deviating ideas for yourself in the open, you could find yourself in hot water. So I think for me, calling some of that into question, because it affects people's lives and how they treat other people and treat themselves. To me, it's important to question some of this stuff, because somebody else made this up. People wrote this over time. It's been edited by different people.
Yes.
And for you to just accept that as is, to me, is kind of problematic. To just, how did this book get to become what it is?
It's a compilation. Talking about the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, these are all different people who wrote it years and years after.
Right.
I'm talking about like Jesus. I mean, it was about 4 or 5 different writers.
Exactly.
That wrote that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you find out that there are, even if you say, okay, let's stay in the world of the Bible, there are apocryphal texts. Why were those removed?
Yeah.
Someone edited that. Someone made the decision to remove those for a reason. On and on and on and on. And then if you get to the sci-fi level of it, why would a 5th dimensional being that's beyond time care about what 3rd dimensional creatures are doing?
Why do we play The Sims?
you know, exactly.
You reminded me of a panel that I attended on this year's Comic-Con. There was somebody with a comic book. I have to remember his title of his comic. But when he said that, I was like, man, they can't let you into the state of Texas. He said that. Hi, everyone. If you're new to the podcast or a returning listener and you enjoy what we are doing here, did you know that you could enjoy more of our content and also support our work via Patreon? For as little as $3 per month, you'll get access to loads of bonus content that you'll find nowhere. And be the first to the latest news. Don't miss out. Go to patreon.com/White Label American Pod, or just search for White Label American Podcast on Patreon. Patreon. It also reminded me of one of my favorite graphic novels from Neil Gaiman, who's a fave of mine. And actually, that was adapted into a show, which unfortunately didn't work out. But there's a scene from one of my favorite episodes. It's American Gods, which is one of my favorite books, one of my faves. And in, I think it was the first season. Yeah, it was the first or second season. Oh, it was first season. And I think the end of the first season, they come to visit Easter. And because it's all the gods. If anyone was not familiar with it, it's everybody who ended up in America, they brought their gods with them. Enslaved people, whatever people, and indigenous people had also have their gods, and you see their gods in human form. And so Easter has her place where she lives, and it's Easter time. Everybody's hanging out there, and they discover, hey, there's Jesus here too.
Right.
And then they discover, oh, it's not one Jesus, there's multiple Jesuses who are here. And like, hey, yeah, he's very popular, and that's why there's so many of them. And it's like, yeah, because people kept bringing their Jesuses with them from wherever they come from. So it's actually a representation of wherever you come from. There's Asian-looking Jesus, there's Japanese-looking Jesus, there's the black Jesus, whatever. Every Jesus is there. And they're so popular, and all the other gods like, man, we hate this guy, man. He gets all the popularity and everybody. And it was one of the most hilarious episodes I've seen. But it's on Stars, I believe. So not many people caught that episode, but the message in that episode it's just funny, but I know it went over many people's heads because I saw what people were writing online that day, and I'm like, you don't get it. It's and one thing to what Amir said in part one, when you brought up Greek mythology, it took me a while to get it, but somebody mentioned that the Greek stories, and I think Roman also. It wasn't about, the gods were great. Because I think as a kid, when I first read it, I think that's what I used to get from them. And I think I was too young to be reading Greek encyclopedia, so I didn't even understand what I was reading. But it was always a warning. It's a warning tale that they are messing up. That's what the stories were always about. They're messing up with power. It gets over their heads. And many people took that to be like, I want to be like them. I want to be like them. And we get the wrong interpretation. And I always love how people retell the tales now. And somehow, just like even Star Wars, people are like, oh, the Empire is cool. Right. People get the wrong message. Like, they don't have to tell you in black and white, but they've showed you how they're oppressing people, how the uniforms, everything is there, and you're still like, they're cool.
They're so cool.
That's the message I'm getting from you. I'm like, okay, well, good luck
people
with
get
that.
Nostalgic over the silliest. People get nostalgic over the British Empire.
Right.
Like to this day,
they gave us tea. That's what somebody said. They
China gave us tea.
Oh my God. I'm like,
I
well,
have a very sympathetic, generous reading of early Christianity as basically one of the Roman cult religions, because Rome had a ton of cult religions.
Right.
With anyone they ran into, that you'd have some kind of local god and Apollo form a cult or something, and this just happened to be a Roman cult religion formed with Judaism and some dude out in Bethlehem or whatever,
right.
And then a lot of the Bible's written hundreds of years after the fact,
right?
And it just kind of went out of control and spiraled into this megalithic bureaucratic apparatus called the Catholic Church.
Yep.
Well, I think you skipped over one thing, though. I think everybody skips over one thing.
Constantine.
If an emperor didn't embrace, doesn't convert, then you don't have power. Because if
it was
all the other religions,
it was a power thing,
which allowed it to become this
all other religions that existed then didn't attain to that power.
Yeah.
Once you attain that power, you control a whole large territory.
When the Romans decided that, I can't remember which emperor, but when he decided No, I think
was
it
someone
was
before Constantine. though.
Oh,
I-
who converted Rome? Who was like, we're
he
Yeah.
he decided that the whole empire was going to have to become Christian.
straight
It
up
was,
Constantine.
and it was just
Oh,
all
okay,
about,
Constantine was the guy who made Christianity the
you know.
Roman
But there was a
Empire.
guy. I think his name it
Roman
began with a
religion, I
D.
mean.
I can't Domitian, not Domitian, but
Oh,
one of them was before Constantine, because Constantine was a thinker, but he was not necessarily. But somebody said, okay, all the countries in the empire, the whole empire, not the countries, the whole empire will now become Christian. And that was one part of it. Then the other part of it was that they just took the existing traditions. Like, for instance, Isis she had holy water,
mhm.
you know? So they took the holy water of her. And if you look at the Pope, you look at the ceremonies, it goes back to ancient Egypt. I mean, just the visual thing, the whole processes of what they do.
I mean, a lot of the
This
holidays
came
are
from ancient
pagan.
Egypt. So they use that, but then they also used it. Okay, monotheism. Okay, monotheism.
It's
Oh,
authoritarian.
Yes, but what happened to Mary? What happened to the goddesses, Isis? In other words, they did away with the woman, the priestess, the goddess. They did away with the goddess, and they stuck the Holy Ghost in there.
Right.
So you had the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. What happened to the Mother? And then, you know, like if you look at ancient Egypt, going back to them, they had a each area had a triad, and you had the father, the male God, you had the female God, and then you had a child. See, so Christianity did away with the woman, and they did away with the power of the priestess.
I'd say Catholicism gave us like Mary.
No,
At
but
some
they
point.
took Mary as the mother. They didn't take her as a
human.
deity.
deity.
She was not a deity.
Right.
She was the mother. See, now my joke
of
about
God.
that is, and you might don't kill me about this. My joke about this is that when Mary, you know, Joseph was an old guy, and Mary was having this affair. This is the way I tell the story is, and the guy, he was this Ethiopian carpenter down the block, okay? So old Joseph, so one day she came, hey, Joseph, we're going to have God's child. Oh, really? Yes.
Over it.
Yeah. You know? And in the meantime,
Whatever
my man.
you say, honey.
Yeah. So this is what but anyway.
Al Pacino just had a
You
baby
know,
at 80 something.
That's what happened. So if you look after Christianity, you have to ask what happened to the priestess, what happened to the female deity that had power, that was the fertility goddess.
Mhm.
You know, instead you had this bland, like the Holy Ghost.
Right.
You know, that was just and then from that time on, you know, so if you look at all the other cultures, okay, like if you look at African cultures, if you look at Indian cultures, I mean, there's a role for the woman, and the woman had power.
They've always had power. Women have always had power in every.
I think you kind of. I know
But
she's not
Christianity, though,
deified
they
literally.
took the
Yeah.
role of the priestess out of Christianity, and that's why. So the nun does
There you
not
go.
equal
That's
what
true.
she does not
Yeah.
equal what the
It's not the
priestess
same
of
as the
ancient
priest.
times did.
Yeah.
You know, the nun is just sort of like subservient to the priest, not a power, not a force of you know. And then if you go back to like say going back to ancient Egypt when the you know Hatshepsut, you know, she was a powerful queen. Okay, she was like one of her roles as the wife of Ammon was, you know, to make love with him as a son. She made love to the sun as he rose in the morning. So she had power. She was not a nun, you know. She was not, you know, and so
It's
that's
also an exception to the rule.
well, no, but I mean
wildly
in general
unpopular
though, you
one.
had priestesses who had power.
Mhm.
That was what the role of the priestess was. She was exceptional rule as far as wanting that power of the
Dressing as
pharaoh.
a man and wearing the goatee.
But if you had priestesses who had like unquestionable power, and you had, I mean, the force of the goddesses that, you know, that existed then was something that did not come about after Christianity. You know,
I mean,
so
All right, but that would be a great topic to continue on. But
you can't denigrate Mary too much, though. I
Yeah.
think she's a very interesting
Wait.
figure.
No, she is, but she does not equal. She does not
we're not
equal-
denigrating
she
Mary.
does not equal the
No.
We're not
priestesses of.
And I
that
also have
preceded
one of
her,
my favorite.
of ISIS. There's a total different thing, and you can see that. And Mary, and then if you go past Mary, in other words, if you go past the Catholic Church, then the Protestants are even worse. Because the Protestants,
no offense to everyone,
Protestants don't have-
Protestantism is a
the
little.
Protestants don't even
Yeah,
have. They
everybody's
don't
getting
have a
bullets,
Mary.
getting
They don't have the
straight,
Mary
straight.
like Catholicism
No.
has.
Catholicism is borderline pagan when it comes to like.
It is.
saints.
Oh,
Catholicism
yeah.
is really
Catholicism.
like
And
closer
stuff.
to the ancient
Yeah,
way of
it's-
As a
worship.
former proud
Yeah.
Catholic,
And
you know,
East Orthodox, there's something like bordering on like the beautiful occultistness of paganism. But Protestantism, I walk into an empty church, I'm like, what are you people doing? The walls are barren.
and they don't even drink wine.
You don't even. I'm like, what? Are you?
At least drink wine.
I'm just
But
kidding.
anyway.
I'm
No, but that's
speaking so
real.
light,
That's-
But I really think
That's what happened. I think that if you look at the evolution of it, you see that the Catholic Church was
iconoclastic.
closer to the ancient ways. And
Yes,
then after them, the Protestants and the Puritans,
Oh,
who were
that-
even
that's-
worse
now-
than
now-
them.
now you
This is
open
what
it.
it is.
You know,
I do not like
What?
iconoclasm. Like, I
Yeah.
do not, that's my issue with like radical Islam, like destroying the Malian.
Yes.
and also
Yeah,
the
that-
Bamiyan Buddhas.
Yeah,
Buddhas
yeah.
in Eastern
Afghanistan,
I'm like,
we've
I
lost
hate
that to
iconoclasts.
history.
I hate the destruction of material history. It just
yeah,
drives me
that
insane.
even get me on
And
that.
I like images in churches
But
because so much.
unfortunately, we don't have enough time
Oh, okay.
to cover all that. So we have to start wrapping up. And there are two fun questions that I know there might be somebody who's writing already penning down their letter. But before you write your letter down,
No such thing as bad press.
yeah, no. That's not. But I'm not even worried about that. I'm not big enough for anybody to try anything. But if anybody wants to complain, have you bought my merch? Go buy it first. Buy it, set it on fire. Preferably shoot it. Make a video of yourself shooting it. But if you don't, if I see fake merch, I'm just gonna black. I will tag you and report you for supporting fraud. So buy the real thing and then set it on fire or shoot it. Do whatever you do when you get mad. All right. So you guys all live in New York, and you all have been influenced by multiple cultures. You have different cultures in your life, but you can't be New Yorkers without loving good food.
Mm.
So, for creative people like yourself, what is your go-to cuisine?
Thai.
Thai? We've gotten Thai on this podcast. All right, that was quick. Well, you
I
nothing,
know, I'm
nothing
like,
Russian. Wow, all right. Hey, Russians,
food's
start
good when you're
start
grand.
writing and complaining. I'll
Russian
give
food
you
is-
Grace's email. You go file your complaint right there. Russians are feeling
Просто еда
betrayed.
вкусная, если твоя бабушка это приготовила.
Oh wow!
Russian
Shots
food's good if your
fired.
grandma made it, but I'm not trying to go out to eat
Shots
Russian
fired.
food, Sorry.
Shots fired. All right. All right.
For me, I mean, it's
Gotta betray somebody, don't
it's,
worry.
It's cliche, but Nigerian food, it's not quite as good as if you
Nigeria
get it
food is a
at
lot.
home.
Which
But
one?
that's
Which one? Gotta betray somebody in Nigeria too.
egusi soup.
Egusi.
That's
This guy's basic. That's basic. man.
exactly.
That
It's
is
it's
basic.
it's very basic.
I
but
use egusi to introduce people to Nigerian cuisine.
no, but if I had to pick a New York place, that's not necessarily. I would say there's a
Don't mention the enemy of this podcast.
no.
Mention the enemy of this podcast. We stop recording. So yeah.
No.
We have to find out. Let's hear what he will say first.
There's-
He'll pass the test.
On in Crown Heights on the corner of Kingston and Throop, there's a corner store that makes the best halal food you've ever had in New York City.
Oh, I thought it was
Fight me on that.
I thought it was a Nigerian place. You were
No,
about to mention.
no. That
What's
separate.
the name of that place?
That's the thing. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just-
it's
You
a
You know how to
basic.
walk
Walk.
there?
I know how to
But you-
walk there.
Okay,
but
that's good. That's good enough.
Kingston and Throop,
Okay.
the best halal food.
All right. I thought it was a Nigerian place you were about to mention. There's
There,
one.
there are other places.
There's one Nigerian place.
The green place is also
Wait. What did you say?
Buka.
Oh Lord, he mentioned the enemy. Golly. What a mention.
do.
Golly.
In terms of
Scratch.
food,
Delete. Walter, delete that.
All right.
Delete that.
I'm-
Scratch that.
I'm more or less an internationalist in a
Okay.
way. I mean, I like a lot of different types of food.
But in New York, there's food from all over the
Yeah,
world. Yeah,
no,
you can't-
even
you
well,
can't claim
that's something I
internationality. They're all
discovered.
New York cuisines now.
Yeah, I mean,
We've It's I go full American for
I mean,
that.
I like
we American
Japanese
now.
food.
It's,
I like Mexican food.
no,
I
no,
like
you gotta
Indian
choose.
food.
We gotta be one. We gotta be one. Some other country's gonna come after you because you didn't call them.
But I
So,
tell you though, I've
your
seen
go-to.
some West African food. The colors of like certain yams and certain things, like just the brightness of the colors, you know, and then that spicy fish next to it. But I'll let you on a little secret though.
What?
And I know I'm taking my life, and you know, like
That's
risking my life.
the reason this question exists.
I make the best sorrel,
Oh, I made
at
sorrel.
least in the Western Hemisphere.
You sure?
I mean,
I made sorrel a few days
Yeah.
ago. It's called zobo. We call it zobo.
yeah, I mean it's worldwide because I mean you
green
can go to
leaf.
Egypt, they make it.
No, that's hibiscus.
Yeah, but I make it very good. You know, like
What
I
do
don't
you-
know,
what do you
maybe
put in
if
yours?
I have some, I'll bring it at
No
the
doubt.
opening.
What
Y'all
do you
tell
add?
me.
Sorrel, like the green leafy stuff that just grows
No, not that
everywhere.
No.
because the
Oh.
green leafy stuff is different than what the sorrel that I'm talking about that is made all around the world. Really is from the hibiscus
Yeah.
flower,
Mm.
and it's red, and it's also
So
very good
what,
for your
do
metabolism.
you use ginger in yours?
I use ginger.
Okay.
I use cayenne. I use
Okay.
I use
All right, you got
I use
something-
lemon and lime.
You have
and
an
I use
extra
raw honey.
than I do. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I was gonna challenge you,
Can I
but no,
add
no, no.
No,
You
tell
win
him-
this duel.
tell him.
Can I change my answer?
No, too
No,
late.
you can't.
No, no.
Uzbekistan.
No, you had the opportunity. I thought you'd go there.
Go
but
to Brighton
no,
Beach.
No, no.
Go to Tashkent Market.
Brighton Beach has some good food.
It's the
Yeah.
Uzbeks.
When you said,
Hey,
when you
it's
said,
not the
oh, yeah,
Russians.
you
It's not
had
the
the
Russians.
oh, yeah, when you said your
just
family went to,
yelled
that's the first thing I
Thai.
thought about was the delis in Brighton Beach.
I thought
They
she
got-
would go Uzbek, but she
I'm sorry.
went.
No, no,
Thai.
you-
No. They had
Is
it
it like-
here first.
I was thinking, I'm kind of
No
hungry. Thinking
takebacks.
of like,
There
I
was
should go to JD on my walk
Nobody
home.
had it gone to you. You just said it Thai immediately. I was like, wow. That was
Oh,
before I
I'll tell
even
you
finished
though.
the
Literally
question.
planning stopping.
I tell you though, Arabella
Mm-mm.
Benares makes some very good food. I went to her house about a couple of weeks ago,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and that was some dynamite food. She's
All right.
being shy; she's not going to talk about it,
Okay.
but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
Chefing it up.
Next,
Yeah, right,
next
right.
question. That's gonna be, another question that might get you in some trouble because
Uh-oh.
that's all this question is.
Let's go to
for.
trouble.
Yes, that's all I'm about now. We've left the knowledge. We're coming into trouble territory. So, everybody who appears on this podcast is considered a dancer. If you claim you don't dance, we'll stop recording and kick you out of the studio. So,
We have to get up, stand on this, and start dancing. Get up on there. All right, come on, let's do that.
well, Amir, we already, we already know you're a full time dancer, so it's all good. So we need you to give us at least 3 artists that can keep you dancing for minimum of an hour. But here's the caveat. Wait. We know some people gonna give us some names that are like very popular, the most popular names. No Burna Boy, no Beyonce, no Michael Jackson. You can't give us those top of the most popular names. Now, some of you have multicultural backgrounds. You can give us names from the different countries, fine. But you can't give us the most popular names. So who wants to go first?
Well, I just heard like Ahmed Abdullah, who's a trumpet player who lives in Brooklyn.
No.
He did some funky, fun stuff with a
Okay.
big band he had, and then also William Parker. He did some really good stuff too. And now he played. They all are capable of playing very out kind of innovative music, but then I heard them recently do stuff that was so funky and so much fun.
So
That it's
I
like
can
what the
find their
world
music.
needs. The world needs this kind of funky, fun stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's your third artist? They mentioned 2.
Oh, you want me to go third one?
Yeah.
And it can't be like James Brown or somebody.
I mean, James Brown, but he brought the funk, but he's up there. He's up there with the most popular names.
Well,
I mean-
okay, because you're
You can give
trying
us-
to really.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much time we have for me to
Nah,
think
nah.
about the third one.
All right, you've given us
But-
2. We'll go to while you think about it.
Okay, I'll mention. This is like favoritism here. I'll mention Sako Miyoji Yeah.
Okay.
from Japan.
From Japan.
Very good
Psycho.
instrumentalist.
All right.
Sako, yes, SACO.
See you.
Miyoji. And she will be playing, by the way, with Kevin Nathaniel at the reception.
Oh.
They'll be playing Mbira together.
All right.
Yeah, so check it out. If you don't
Awesome.
think maybe Amir's making that name up even,
All right.
then come to the opening. They're going to hit at 7:00, and it's just going to be dynamite.
All righty.
340 East 64th Street, 6 to 8 p.m., November 30th. Be there or be square.
All righty. So that won't take that you still gotta drop your artist.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Can't
so,
escape.
William Monnier Bar. Oh, sorry, I hit the table.
You're supposed to sit at the table? No?
I apologize.
All right, William who?
William Monnier Bar.
Onye Bar?
Nigerian funk.
Ah.
He's the guy in the cowboy hat.
Oh, I don't think I know him.
Good name is better than silver and gold.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nobody
don't have that.
Wow, you sing too?
No.
Wow.
Damn.
Hey, you
William
just
Monnier
did.
Bar,
You just
incredible.
did.
Incredible. And then Fela Kuti is a
Hell no. Hell. I just said no Burna Boy, no Michael Jackson, and you go put Fela. So Fela is not popular? What? Really?
well, okay, at least
Really?
someone, a
That
26-year-old.
was like, I need a buzzer. Where's the buzz sound, bro?
Among my peers, when I play it, people are like, "Oh my god, who's this?" So at least for
you
my
need new
for my
peers.
age
You need
group,
new
then.
peers.
Okay.
Yeah. New
and then
peers needed. Who wants to apply?
my third,
Grace needs new peers.
ABBA. They're
That's a
popular.
good
I
one.
know they're okay.
Now, you know what? I'm out.
Who do
I'm
you
leaving
know
the
that
stu-
nobody knows?
You
Come
can
on,
have
you
the
know
studio.
somebody's a
Walter, I'm
musician.
out of the studio. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm
It's
leaving my own
airtime.
studio.
Give your buddies airtime now.
Come
Say,
on.
yo, I know so and
someone
so.
that nobody knows.
I did not allow James Brown, and I'm gonna
sorry.
allow
Okay.
Fela and ABBA. You know how many people have been fighting me to allow Fela on this show?
I like to dance to Solange Knowles music.
Okay, I see the technicality you try to pull there
Yeah.
because I didn't allow the big sister. And you try. All right, well,
I'm not even
Solange.
a Beyonce fan. I think Solange is
We're not allowing. You had we're not allowing no blasphemy allowed on this.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you guys want to fight me, then
Okay.
fight me.
no doubt.
No. I love the Hive. You know, I love Hive people. You know, I'm a fan of you guys. Still buy my merch too. You know. Yeah. All right, Solange. Who you got from Russia? You gotta have somebody.
Molchat Dama is a Belarusian.
Yeah,
band.
I ain't gonna try.
They're
type
Molchat
that.
Dama. Very
And you know what?
fun
You can't
shows.
say Pussy Riot.
Send me the name. Send me the name because I'm never gonna try and write that down. Because yeah,
Will do.
yeah.
It's, they're very gothic. They sound a lot like a British 80s goth band.
Oh,
They sound a lot like Joy
okay.
Division.
I know somebody I'll send that to. He
I really like them. I've
he-
seen
he
them
would
play
check
in
it out.
Brooklyn a couple times.
Oh,
But now
okay.
they're popular enough that the shows are like really big and expensive.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so- always goes.
Or like Alla Pugacheva. That's a popular band.
See, you had artists and you had. Yeah, well, don't do that to
It
yourself.
doesn't make me want to dance though. Like, sorry.
Wait, did they make you want to dance or not?
Not out. No, not. But Molchat Dama, yeah. There's a lot of bass.
Okay. All right.
Muchacha Moya.
Obinna, you shouldn't have. This should be easy for you because
Ah.
the Dutch got
Well,
some
Simon
dance
House.
music
Oh, yeah?
coming out from there right now. So
It's
See,
interesting.
I don't know any new Dutch
it doesn't have to
artist
be new. It can be.
right now.
It can be from.
Stromae Dutch?
Stromae is Belgium.
Stromae is
Oh,
Belgium.
sorry.
He makes really good stuff.
And
That
my daughter likes Stromae. I love Stromae.
he's really good.
So I can let Stromae in for technicality because nobody has figured out Stromae exists.
This I don't know if it's all dance, but Toroi Moi, he's a musician from, I want to say California. I think he's West Coast,
Okay.
but Thundercat is also another.
Thundercat. Huh. That's-
Um,
I don't know. Sounds familiar. I don't know if I know it.
and I'm blanking on his name now.
It can be a woman. It can be from anywhere. Non-binary. I don't know.
That's I don't have it.
I think on Yenka.
Dad brain.
If you want to
Right
drop,
now.
if you want to go old school and drop Oyenka, I'll allow that slide. But all right,
Thames is really good.
Thames. Oh Lord, that's
Wait, that
that's popular. That's cheating. That's cheating. You know,
fair enough. She is global.
That's
She
cheating.
is global.
It's yeah. But all right. So you send me a name too. Send me a name later because all that goes on into my music playlist.
All right.
And I have my person who checks, and then they pass the test, and then they get into my playlist.
All right.
That's how I have my playlist. When people come to my party, oh man, where this music from? Wow, you got music out. Nobody. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm special.
That's
All right.
good.
So can't thank you all enough for coming on the show. Walter I've gone way past the time. Walter is about to pulled my hat and dragged me out of the studio. So, as my people say, Umbana for coming here, and my wife says Dankeschön, and my East African buddies will say Asante Sana, and yeah, I know too many thank yous from all the guests who've been here over 160 episodes. I collect thank yous from all over the world. Final thing you'd like to leave the audience with, your freestyle moment. But we gotta keep it short. So yeah, what would you like to leave the audience with? Who would like to go?
Kingston Throop, best halal food in New York.
Oh, okay.
In Crown Heights. That's it.
Well, if you want to check out some slamming artwork, okay, come to 340 East 64th Street between, was it 1st and 2nd Avenue?
Mm-hmm.
On Thursday, we're going to have a grand opening of some dynamic, dynamitic artists. And, like just meant to like show the new way, the new direction in life. That's what we're working for.
And by Thursday, you mean November 30th?
November 30th.
All right.
Right.
Awesome. And what's your...
Oh, I can't think of anything.
Anything you can say it from the heart.
The working class has nothing to lose but their chains. Workers of the world unite.
All righty.
Nobody likes that.
People, it's a freestyle moment. It worked. It's great. Got to stay united. So, thank you again. Appreciate you all. Please let the people know where they can find you, and if they want to stay in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you? Plug yourself in, please.
My Instagram is GRCNKM, and that's where I post my paintings.
All right.
Wow, gee whiz. I can't remember my my Instagram.
It's Moya Rojo.
Yeah, Moya Rojo 484. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay. That was my
And
first address.
I'll have the show links. I'll have them in the show links too. So don't worry if you can't
so
remember.
MOYOROHO 484 Instagram. Otherwise, my name Amir Bey on Facebook, and same one.
All right.
And my Instagram is Black Robot. That's BLAK Robot, all one word.
All righty.
Yeah, first I said, who's Black Robot? Black, who's that? So, my man, it's a Black Robot. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
It's a goofy name. I think it was my AIM screen name, like way back
yeah.
when AIM was a thing.
Throwback.
All right. And thank you to Arabella, who's been quiet in the studio, for bringing everybody here.
Very shy.
Yeah. And so please stay tuned and be on the lookout for the next episode. And please support these guys and come check them out at the exhibit. You might meet me there too. So, hey, thank you for the privilege of your company. See you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, please give a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. You can follow the show on all social media platforms. Visit the White Label American website for links for donations, episodes, feedback, guests, merch, and newsletter. Don't forget to download the free White Label American app on the Google Play Store and Apple coming soon. Thank you for the privilege of your company.